Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in to day one of Digital Agility Week. I'm Pendo O'Donoghue and I'm head of the Middle East and Africa for Google here in Dublin. We've got a lot of great content to share with you today and indeed across the week. But before we begin, it's worth acknowledging the obvious, that the majority of us find ourselves in a situation that is far from business as usual. In fact, we might term it as business unusual at the moment. As we all continue to adapt to the coronavirus pandemic across the globe, we understand that today's landscape is creating new challenges for us, all our businesses and our customers too. We're all being asked to adapt really quickly, to be agile in the broadest sense of the word. And in order to navigate these uncertain times, flexibility and responsiveness are key. So those who succeed in adapting are those who are willing to tweak and hone stuff, to really try stuff out, to do things a bit differently in order to stay on the front foot, to keep ahead of the game, so to speak. So that's what this week is all about from a digital perspective. It's about checking in and making sure you're set up to be as agile and as smart as you can to make sure that you're getting the most out of the tools that you use every day so to stay highly relevant. Now, many of you have reached out to us to let us know that information like the content that we're going to be sharing today comes at a crucial time, a time where you're striving to be helpful and relevant to your customers. So with this in mind, we'll continue to work hard and provide you with the content and insights that you need to help you and your businesses moving forward. You can find more information about how Google is trying to help by visiting our company blog at google.com. As you'll know from your Google team, Digital Agility Week is designed to provide you with practical, tailored content throughout the next few days for you to watch in a way that works for you. So complementing the series of videos you'll have access to each day, we'll kick off with a daily briefing as well. Now, these briefings give us the opportunity to share our insights into key marketing and customer trends, as well as exploring other critical topics such as privacy and the importance of first-party data on the digital practitioner's landscape, more of which you'll hear about in a moment. We've themed the content across each day of Digital Agility Week, and today we're focusing on data and automation. At a moment in time when we're all experiencing huge uncertainty, with major shifts in economies, sectors, and customer behaviors happening faster than ever before, it feels like making the right or good decision is harder than ever before. Hopefully some of you can resonate with that. Now at Google, we've always started with the user. So today that's how I'd like to start, by looking at our data to see how user behavior is evolving. And that's because I believe that if we can get to know our customers better, it gives us the chance to respond to their needs in the most meaningful and achievable way. And of course, the only way to do that at a speed and scale with which the current situation requires of all of us is by harnessing the power of automation. As I mentioned, consumer behavior and the marketing trends that answer them are moving faster than ever before. And as countries' experiences of the pandemic differ, so do market trends. However, it's worth emphasizing that many of the most established trends that we all recognize remain highly relevant across the EMEA region at this time. The move to a mobile-first world hasn't been slowed down by the pandemic. In fact, some of my markets I'm seeing desktop rise slightly driven by the lockdown restrictions on movement. However, even with millions of people across EMEA being asked to stay at home, mobile is still the go-to means of accessing digital content. As people move to work from home and to manage their lives in a more flexible way, mobile is more important than ever. For instance, we've seen a rise in the use of multiple devices, with customers spending 20% more time on apps than they did a year ago. When thinking about mobile, I often think of just how important mobile devices are to people, how important they are to me. I have 2 of them. And these results often come to mind, and I'll just give you a moment to reflect on that. As you'd expect, recent events have accelerated the move towards e-commerce, with twice as many searches for online shopping and the prioritization of the digital channel for many, many brands and campaigns. We also believe that the rationalization of physical stores will continue to be a trend, as what the new normal looks like starts to fall into place whenever that happens. However, what I found particularly interesting is that even during the pandemic, the connection between an online and an offline presence has remained integral to the customer experience. In May, the month just gone, 26% of shoppers bought online and picked up either in-store or curbside for the first time. That's a huge amount of people experiencing that omni-channel journey for the first time. To me, that says we need to be ready for seamless integration across all channels and experiences as part of our planning for this new normal. And further to that point, I'd recommend reading McKinsey's Insights from February this year, which highlights not just the importance of the omnichannel experience, but the 5 to 15% increase in revenues generated by a personalized omnichannel experience. Again, the value of creating a personalized experience for our customers is something that I know many of you are already aware of, and in tomorrow's briefing, you'll hear a lot more from Shane about customization. However, even before the pandemic struck, many of us had discovered some of the potential tensions between personalization and privacy. So if we want to make the most of the digital agility offered by leveraging data and automation, it seems sensible to finish this briefing by getting a better understanding of the current state of the regulatory landscape. So marketeers want to serve hyper-personalized campaigns, and people do not want their data misused. There's a tension between hyper-personalization and privacy. And thankfully, this is a challenge our guest speaker today can talk to. Gabrielle Jenkins is a data privacy lead for the UK and Ireland for Google EMEA, and I'm really excited that Gabby can join us today to talk a little bit more about data and automation. Gabby, fantastic to have you today. And so my first question for you is, what consumer behaviours are we seeing that are driving marketing behaviours around privacy and first-party data?
Well, thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it. So, simply put, user demand for additional privacy has led to both increased regulation and stepped-up controls from browsers. These new regulations around the world are bringing privacy to the forefront for ads. Meanwhile, internet platforms are shifting to meet these higher user expectations, impacting the ways data is collected and shared in the digital advertising industry.
Great. So like some of the other trends I touched on, this is an established trend that's been evolving. Why is this an urgent call out for people tackling big business challenges right now?
Well, we have some very recently launched information which can be considered. And that research really calls out quite clearly this is something that all businesses with any online presence need to address as soon as they can. This recently launched research is in partnership with Boston Consulting Group, and it's called Responsible Marketing with First-Party Data. And it's a result of research over 2019 and 2020 and includes qualitative research with more than 70 advertisers across 7 markets in EMEA, including UK, Germany, Spain, France, Italy, Sweden, and the Netherlands. And it's designed to get a better understanding of current market perceptions around first-party data, how advertisers were using it in practice, and what good looks like. Furthermore, it also talks about how responsible and effective first-party data can drive digital marketing maturity. And it also looks at what the key principles for success are in this space in terms of consumer expectations. And the research found that end users won't engage with marketing if they don't understand the value exchange.
And can you outline the value exchange for us?
Basically, access to and the use of first-party data is a two-way relationship between the marketer and the consumer. If a marketer is being transparent and responsible with data, whilst providing value to the consumer in turn is willing to share a little more information about themselves. And when I talk about value, we're talking about incentives or value adds. These could be things like discounts for newsletter signups, blogs with premium video content, or an app to improve the consumer experience with a product or service. This in turn means that the marketer can use this data to provide more relevant comms and offers, further tailoring that consumer experience. If you think about it, it's an ongoing cycle based on trust. However, if consumers are surprised, for example, there is a data breach or data is being used in an unexpected or unwelcome way, this can break the cycle of trust, which can easily lead to the consumers withdrawing their consent for the use of their data or simply walking away from the company altogether.
So more relevant comms and offers, which would fall under the customization that I talked about just moments ago. Can you share with the viewers how has Google reacted to these changes and what that may mean for them?
Absolutely, Pendo. So if you think about what we were talking about users before, our approach is to provide users transparency into digital advertising and how that works. We also ensure that people's choices about the use of their data are respected and offer users control over their experience. We know there isn't a one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to privacy, and privacy can mean different things to different people, and it also changes depending on the context. However, Google internal research has shown us that our users prefer ads that are personalized to their needs and interests, but only if those ads respect their privacy and offer transparency, choice, and control. And our approach reflects that insight. What that means for marketers on this call is that Google has made this a priority as providing a platform and tools for them to make good use of.
Google has made this a priority and is providing a platform and tools for them to make good use of. Okay, so that sounds like Google has it sorted and marketers just need to use the Google tools. That sounds like an easy win.
Well, I'll try to give you the context. They need to make it as easy as possible, and I do think it is a win for everyone, but it's a little bit more complex than marketeers simply adopting a few Google tools. If you think about it, the internet is a symbiotic ecosystem. Advertising enables universal access to quality information on the internet, but they need to make it work for everyone. When it does, it means users can get access to information and great content, creators and publishers can thrive by getting fair compensation for their work, and marketers can connect effectively with people interested in what they have to offer. However, we all need to understand and accept the responsibility we have to protect people's privacy, especially when it comes to the ads that they see.
Given there is a lot going on at the moment and marketers are having to adapt, thinking about right here and now, what part do those on this call have to play in this?
It's a great question, Pendo. I would strongly recommend marketers pivot towards this privacy-first, user-centric future today. Marketers' goals haven't changed, but the stakes have increased. Marketers still want to reach and measure audience efficiently, but as cookie-based solutions and the ecosystem evolves, they will have to redefine how to measure and find insights on their audiences with a privacy-first approach. This can be done by implementing best practices in a changing digital ads ecosystem, and by investing in privacy-focused, long-term strategies built on and respecting user choice and transparency. We appreciate that some of these best practices aren't new, but they become especially more important as you begin to think about future-proofing. And there are 3 areas I'd like to call out. First of all, strengthen your policies and work with partners who share your values regarding privacy. Review how you currently collect and use data and ensure that your systems and practices are consistent with your own principles and comply with regulations. Also ensure that your partners have a privacy-first principles and practices that comply with regulations and are consistent with user expectations, and that they protect consumer data. Secondly, move towards first-party data solutions as soon as you can and prioritize user relationships. I talked earlier about the BCG findings on the importance of the value exchange, and it's important to have solutions in place to measure the effectiveness of your ads in a privacy-focused way. Marketers will also want to move towards eliminating reliance on third-party cookies by having a first-party tagging strategy that enables measurement visibility across all browsers. And you can do this type of tagging with Google's Global Site Tag or with a tool like Google Tag Manager. Finally, explore machine learning to help you predict outcomes and make better decisions, and you'll hear more about this week. This helps achieve personalization experiences at scale and anticipate user needs, even when user signals are limited, for example, due to user preferences or browser constraints. As an example, take Google Audiences. It continues to drive marketing objectives because of their durability. Even when situations where user signals are not available, they'll lean more on models and using contextual signals so you can continue to deliver the most relevant ads to the right audiences.
And is there something people can do to further ready themselves for what is coming down in this evolving space?
Absolutely, Pendo. First up is looking at opportunities to engage with industry bodies to help shape the future of web standards. All browsers are thinking about privacy and are taking different approaches. Google's approach is to build alternatives to third-party cookies, and you've probably heard of the Privacy Sandbox. And marketers can help shape these standards. Finally, explore at-scale platforms and tools. As data becomes more centralized and automated, it increases the need for scalable data management. This could include tools to help manage cross-channel media, such as those available in the Google Marketing Platform.
Really informative, Gabby, and an awful lot in there. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, Google Audience is something that will be covered extensively tomorrow, and that does need and touch on automation and plug into customization. Over the course of today, you'll learn a lot more about how automation can help you personalize and properly work with your data. In our search module, you'll learn how smart bidding can help you handle constantly changing user behaviors. And in the display module, you'll learn how to automate your display advertising end-to-end through smart display campaigns. You'll also learn how to get the most out of machine learning with TrueView for Action in our video module later on. Lastly, learn how to optimize your marketing objectives with automated bidding in our Display and Video 360 module. And stay tuned because all that is coming up right here. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the content that we have lined up for you. Goodbye.